The ANC won 55% of the votes in the northwest, but failed to secure an outright majority in 3 municipalities. The party is currently bargaining with smaller parties to form coalition governments. But the question is, will the parties agree to partner with the ANC? eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is in Mahikeng, following that story for us. Manqoba, 3 hung municipalities in the northwest. I'm sure the ANC thought that they'd get outright majority in that particular province, but they didn't. What's the FF Plus telling you? I'm interested in hearing about them.
We do know for sure that the ANC did not secure an outright majority in 3 of those municipalities, which is the JB Marks municipality, as well as the Rustenburg municipality and the Lekwatemane municipality here in this particular province. And of course, these were some of the regions that the ANC was hoping to, in fact, rule with a controlling majority here. But they managed to receive just less than 50% of the votes here. But they are, of course, looking at other smaller parties to try and make coalition governments with those smaller parties. And one of those parties, of course, that has made some significant grounds here in the northwest is Freedom Front Plus. And Freedom Front Plus, of course, saying that at this particular point, though, it is not going to work with neither the ANC nor the EFF in those coalition governments. Of course, they're saying that this is still going to be under discussion at the national office by the national office bearers. They're going to discuss those parties that they're willing to work with. But they're saying that when it comes to the ANC or the EFF, for that matter, those 2 parties, they're not budging on them. Those are the 2 parties that they say they will not be working with. But take a listen to what one of their representatives had to say on this.
We will not be working with the ANC. We will definitely not be working with the EFF. Other parties in the JB Marks area is the Democratic Alliance and the PA. So yes, that is what is currently on the table. And we are looking at coalitions, yes.
But Manqoba, I mean, many people may say that the EFF on a provincial level was stagnant in the numbers that they gave, but not in the northwest. They seem to be growing in the northwest. So any talks about a possible coalition between the ANC and the EFF?
Indeed, we did see the EFF making some significant grounds here in the northwest. In fact, where they are currently is that they've retained their status as the main opposition party here in the northwest, with just over 16% of the support here in this particular region. So they've grown by about 9%, going to 24%. In fact, I think 16%, Pasiko, if I may correct, that was their figure that they stood in 2016 during the local government elections. They've now moved up to 24% of that support. So they've grown significantly here in the province. But of course, the ANC at this stage saying that it's still waiting from guidance from the national office on who exactly is going to approach to work with as a coalition government. You recall that, for example, in Rustenburg, which was one of the hung, or the only hung municipality in 2016, they actually formed a coalition with smaller parties there in that particular area. So at this particular stage, we do understand that they will be in those talks with some of the smaller parties, but at this stage, we're not able to confirm whether the EFF will be one of those. But just speaking on what the leader of the EFF had said nationally, he had indicated, of course, Julius Malema, that they are willing to talk with any party on possible coalitions. But he says, of course, they won't be approaching any of those parties, but rather that they'll be waiting for those parties rather to engage the EFF and then see perhaps if they could work together. So at this particular point, we do know those talks are ongoing in Rustenburg. All the smaller parties are meeting with the ANC as well as the DA in Rustenburg today to try and see perhaps if they could form some form of partnerships and form those coalition governments. So at this stage, I think we'll have to see how that will pan, Masiko, when those talks between the parties are concluded.
All right, Manqoba Mchunu in Mahikeng for us. We'll check in with him a little later on, because coalition governments are what we're going to hear about for the next 2 weeks. Now